haven't heard
What's
this music in
happening,
so
folks?
long.
I know I haven't heard this music in forever. I think we need to crank. Well, no, we'll keep with this. What's happening, folks? We're about to go live. Another Accountability Success Circle Quickie.
94.
And we're going to be talking about three. I know, this is number 94. We're going to be talking about 3 areas that you can sprinkle some play on in your life.
Gary, we've done
All
it
right.
94 times.
94 times. Oh my gosh. All right. And 3, 2, and 1. What's happening, folks? Yay.
So happy.
I am so happy to be here. So, hi, everyone. Oh my gosh. It has been forever. Hi, April. How are you doing?
I'm good. It has been forever. You know exactly
Right?
when the last time was.
Ish. Yes. Yes. It's been,
Over
it
a
has
year.
been over a year since the last time we were in your screens, not screams, screams, screens. With an ASC Quickie. And yes, number 93, I think was back in April of 2024. Oh my gosh, it has been too long.
We've been
But I am
busy.
so happy to be back. Yes, we have been so busy. So
Yeah.
we are back. And Sharon.
I love it. Sharon,
And we're going to be talking about my favorite topic, play.
Yes. Yes, we are getting ready for some amazing magic coming up here with the summer.
But just to catch everyone up, since it has been a year, April, top 3 things that you've experienced done in the last year. Go. I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
Well, both of my kids have had milestone, or I guess as of tomorrow, we're gonna have milestone accomplishments. My oldest turned 16. I'm rubbing my hands a lot. My oldest turned 16 and he has his license. So that was a big thing, a big project for this year. My younger son is graduating from 8th grade tomorrow. So those are, I'll use that as 2. And then I think number 3, I am getting ready to launch a podcast. Don't quote me on the date because I'm starting to get through all the fear that has to do with that. But this is a project, podcast that is part of my overarching book project. So super excited. Yay. How about you? Now I have to throw it back to you.
All right, cool. 3 things for me in the last year since last time we went live. Man, a lot of things. But yeah, on the family front, like my 2 boys are growing up so fast.
So fast.
My oldest is 8 and my youngest will be 3 in August. And I think I was looking at photos from this time a year ago. And my youngest had like no hair for the longest time. And now he has fluffy, curly hair. And he looks like a completely changed little kid. He used to look like a little Cabbage Patch doll, and now he has like fluffy hair. So there's that. And my oldest is still doing Taekwondo, and he's loving that. So that is awesome.
What belt is he?
He is I want to say senior orange belt or senior yellow belt, one of those 2. But the next belt that he would test to is the one that he had been wanting to get since he started doing Taekwondo, which is the camo belt. And so that is a big milestone. So there's that. And then, yeah, on the career front, yes, still doing all kinds of really cool stuff. I don't have any podcast or anything in the works, but I'm just gonna
on mine anyways. So
yes, exactly. So
just
I would promote
let me
that.
do all the work and you just show up. That's like
that sounds
how we
like
do all the time anyways, right? No, I'm kidding.
yeah, that's par for the course. Yeah, April is
Love you.
April is the organized one, and very structured and has all the details and the logistics. And then Gary just sort of pops in.
But he brings the magic. He brings the magic. He brings the play, which is
what
important.
We're here to talk about. Yes, which is important. All right, so let's get down to business. Thank you for humoring us as we sort of catch up. But yes, today we are talking about 3 areas of your life that you probably didn't think about that if you added some play would be beneficial. So let's just dive on in because I really want to talk about these. In the first one, especially to some folks, this may seem like counterintuitive because if you're anything like me, when you get to this area, it's not necessarily an enjoyable area. And so some people want to be right of like, oh my God, I'm so angry and I don't want to do this stuff. That the thought of adding something playful to make it enjoyable seems like something you wouldn't want to do. But the first area is mundane work.
Ugh,
Um,
it's like every day.
Yeah, and there's so many things. For me, some of the most mundane things is like doing expense reports and like clerical type stuff, doing the dishes, tidying up. Things that you need to do, and it's important to get done, but you just dread doing it. What is it for you, April?
Email, number one thing. Email. I mean, all finances too. Doing all of the handling all the money transactions and doing all that stuff. It is drives me insane, and I feel like it's been a long road trying to figure out what is the right way to
Yes.
make it fun because I have to do it every day. When I don't,
Yeah.
it's like the overwhelm piles up. So
Yeah. And so, yes, I agree. And at the end of the day, like it still may not be fun, but if we could bring this spirit of play, we can get through it faster. It can be a little bit more enjoyable. The experience overall can be enjoyable. And the main thing is we get through it. And then you're able to go to something else instead of like dreading it and wasting all that energy and that leads to procrastination. So you may be thinking, Gary, this is so painful. How do we add play to this? And so, this is one of the things that I like to quote a very wise person. Maybe you know of her. Her name is Mary Poppins. And Mary Poppins says, for every job that must be done, you add a little bit of fun and snap, the job's a game. And some of the things that I like to do, and so these are embedding game mechanics into the task as a way to really hijack your brain and get you to get into the spirit of it. And so the easiest of all things, and I know it affects me, music.
mm.
Music is such a powerful medium. You can listen to music that maybe you were listening to during a breakup, and you immediately get those feels, or maybe there was a song that was playing, during a wedding or an exciting moment in your life, and it immediately transports you there. And so I personally have it's called Gary's Cleanup Jams, and
Can you
and
share
what I
that
have to,
playlist with me? I think I
I know,
need
right?
that.
It's very personal to me, but I love '90s music, and so it's like essentially like '90s pop, and I put that on in my earbuds, and I go to town. I have
Go to
another
town.
thing to layer onto it. Oh, Old Town, hello. Anyways, guilty pleasure. April, what are your thoughts?
I love that. I mean, I think that that's something, I'm sitting here, the gears are turning because email and finances and all of those things, mundane work, there's aspects of it where, I know that just need to do it. And there's things that I do tactically, productivity wise, where it's like, break it down to the smallest task. Like I'm trying to clean up my Facebook Messenger messages. Like I'm just deleting 5 a day. There's like thousands. And I'm just like, just 5. And then I can have the dopamine hit of like crossing that off the list. But that's not, I don't know, that's not as fun. But like adding the music is a great way to think about. So I want I want that I want that playlist. I'm gonna have to make
Cool.
myself one, right? And maybe even doing it in a certain amount of time where it's like once this playlist is over, you can stop.
Ah,
And that's your
that
reward.
is that is part two. Part
Yeah.
one is what if you added music to it? I have different types of playlists depending on the different types of mundane tasks that I need to do. I have a focus playlist that again, this is very nerdy Gary, but it is lo-fi video game music, and I put that on when I need to like sort of focus and not get too hyped up. But again, I have to do some stuff again, like tactical type stuff that is like a pain in the butt. And then I have Gary's pump up jams when I'm need energy and I'm cleaning the house and stuff like that. But the other thing is a timer. And then, especially for us neurodivergent folks, there's something magical about a timer that activates this play drive. And so, for example, getting the dishes started, mostly it's just getting started. Like once you can get into the state of flow, then things just go. But it's just to get over that initial inertia. And it's funny, I do it to myself. I do it to my kids, and I say, hey, look, I'm going to set a timer for 10 minutes and we're just going to work for 10 minutes. And then we'll check back in. Let's see how much work we can get done in 10 minutes. I set the timer. We have home pods and stuff like that. We say the magic word and set a timer for 10 minutes. Boom, jump into work. And a few things happen. One, we just get going. And then, we're into that state of flow, and then the timer goes off and like, wow, I did a lot in 10 minutes. And then again, it's a choose your own adventure. Like, do you keep going, or do you say, all right, I've done enough for now, move on? And so, yeah, and there's that, how much can I get done in 10 minutes? It really activates that sense of play, that sense of competition. And so again, maybe with the playlist, you're like, hey, look, I'm just going to go until this playlist is done, and then I'm going to stop. But yeah, what are your thoughts, April?
I love that. I mean, time boxing is what I do all the time, right? I think, even as a part of our accountability success circle, we have co-working all the time. So there's just so much more that can happen when you set a timer and do things in a small little bit of time. So yeah, love
Yes.
it.
I love it. And
Yay.
for Sharon's down with Duran Duran. Yeah.
Duran
Sharon,
Duran.
Sharon and my wife would be really good friends on a musical level. My wife loves Duran Duran. Sharon, if you're still watching, who's your favorite person in Duran Duran? I'm curious. You can put that in the chat. So yes, when it comes to mundane work, we sometimes really have to hack our brains. And using in this case, external motivators. It does work. And then the last thing is, um, how can we essentially reward ourselves? And again, I do this all the time. You know what? I really don't want to do this, but you know what? Let's put the music on. Let's set the timer. And when I'm done, my gift to myself is I get to play one round of Ticket to Ride on my iPad. I love doing that. So again, what is that reward that you can give yourself? Of course, it's Simon. Uh, Same with my wife. Anyways, what about you? Do you have rewards for yourself?
I have actually been trying this today because I don't know if it's as much play, but I have taken up crochet in the last 7 or 8 months, and I absolutely love being able to do that. My dog is barking underneath my feet, but a lot of times it'll be like, let me just do like these 3 tasks, and then I can crochet around. So this is funny because I have this sitting here. I'm working on a Pac-Man for my son for graduation,
Yay!
and I haven't gotten too far, but today I was like, I kind of need to do it because his graduation is tomorrow and I have not gotten too far. So I've been trying to say like 3 tasks, 1 round, 3 tasks, 1 round. So that it's like breaking it down to the smallest little bit. So yeah.
Yes. Oh, I love it. And again, just to recap, these are the things we have to do. Oftentimes we procrastinate and put it off and then it delays other stuff. Or while we're doing it, we're just, draining our energy because like, oh, such a slog. How can we use playfulness and game mechanics as a way to, one, get us into action quicker, make it a little bit more enjoyable, and then that creates space for other things. So that's thing number one. Thing number two, areas of your life that you maybe didn't consider, if you sprinkle some play in can be helpful. And area number two is your career.
Wow.
Um,
Because aren't
and
we supposed to be so serious when it comes to career?
right,
Like there's no
I
play involved in career,
I
right?
know, right? And so this is a quote by a gentleman. His name is Brian Sutton. Anyways, it's going to come to me eventually. But this gentleman, he's a researcher, and he talks about Brian Sutton Smith. There it is. He says most people think of the opposite of play, is work. The opposite of play is not work. The opposite of play is depression. And yes, the work needs to be serious, and we should take ourselves serious at work. But again, think about how much time you spend at work and on your career to, to like be there and to be like, uber serious all the time. And so the thing with play and playfulness, why this is important, it does a few things. One, it can help you stay motivated in your career because, again, I speak about this in my TEDx talk and a number of the talks that I do. I talked about when I worked for this marketing agency, and I talk about, like, in the beginning, yeah, it was very playful, and I saw it as a playground of possibilities. But then we got serious, and we had to quote unquote grow up, and did the same amount of work, but it resulted in burnout and it resulted in overwork and things like that. And so, again, the lens how you see the world is going to affect everything about the world. And so, when you add playfulness to it, you can do it in a few areas. One, and this is from the book Prime to Perform by Lindsay McGregor and Neil Dosey, and they talk about intrinsic motivation. So for the first one, with mundane tasks, we had to use extrinsic motivation to get us some stuff that's like, ugh, I don't want to do. But intrinsic motivation keeps us motivated and keeps us focusing on, like, the bigger picture. So if you can see your work as play, and when I mean see it as play, see it as something that you can do, for the sake of doing it, regardless of how much you get paid and stuff like that. And I know we got to get paid and all this other stuff. I totally get it, right? And I want everyone to get paid accordingly. But just imagine yourself doing these things for the sake of doing it. And again, my at that point in my career, yeah, I was so into marketing and communication, so this was like my dream job. But yet, I ended up burning myself out and feeling lost. So it's a slight shift in perspective, but they have three areas. So it's play, purpose, and potential. So if you can see the work as play, as in something that you are challenged by in the appropriate ways, something you can get into the state of flow, and then the purpose is the output of the work. I did this thing, and wow, this is the impact that it made. And again, this in some cases need to have some reframing and some proper sort of perspective on it. But every job, that you do, even from being a janitor, if you can see the purpose and the output of your work is something greater than yourself, again, it taps into that intrinsic motivation. At a movie theater that's by my house, there was this older gentleman, and every time we go, oh my gosh, he had just such amazing attitude, and he was so happy and upbeat. And I went up to him and I was like, just want to get to know him. And again, he's just like, I love talking to people. I love being here, and it just brings him so much joy. So again, him, like, just regular ticket taker, regular person at a movie theater. Yes, I know working in retail and stuff like that can be a pain in the butt sometimes, but he saw the output of his work as something that brought him joy, and it really tapped into the intrinsic motivation and made him want it to be better. And it brings me to the number three is potential. So play, purpose, and potential. We can grow within our career. So again, this is all tapping into the intrinsic motivation that keeps you going. So that's the first part of the engine. And then the next thing is, and this is where play really comes in, is needing to recover. And it's so interesting, like in prepping for this, I saw something on LinkedIn that was saying that we aren't treating rest the right way. Most of the times, think about, like, when you take a break, how are you taking a break at work? It's probably scrolling on social media or maybe checking your email. That is not the appropriate way to take a break. You need to follow April's example. She's over here for me. And what is something, again, maybe tactile, get up, move around. And what it does, it resets your brain. It gets you so that when you jump back into the work, you're more focused. So I want to take a quick pause and get off the soapbox for a moment. And April, what are your thoughts and reflections on this?
I mean, I think that one of the big things when it comes to play or play in your career is, maybe even thinking about how the things that you find joy with outside of work can be weaved into the work that you're doing. Obviously, we all have different work situations. Me and Gary work for ourselves, so we have a little bit more creative uh, agency to do things the way that we want to. Hence, this is why we have had 94 quickies in our work. But but also even finding ways to infuse the things that are fun, even if it's, taking that play break, the things that you like to enjoy with some of your teammates, or, your coworkers, finding, time to do those breaks together and making sure that it doesn't become just about the work, right? It is about bringing joy so that we can do our best work. And when you are not stressed and you're not overwhelmed, you are able to give yourself that opportunity to do your best work because that stress carries so much more weight than joy does. So
Yes.
that's all I have to
So
say.
again, yeah, and sprinkle that little bit of playfulness. Again, emotions are contagious. So yes, it's important to be serious, but knowing the right point of when to add sort of playfulness in there. And in one of my talks, I call it the playful map. MAP is an acronym. So, what is your method of playfulness? Who is the audience? And what is your purpose? Knowing that playfulness connects us, it helps us be more flexible, more creative, and then just enjoy life. So, but yeah, so that is our career. And again, it's not about goofing off. It's not about necessarily playing jokes all the time. But hey, there's a space for that. It's all about creating an environment where we can be our best selves and do our best work because we spend so much time there. So we talked about the mundane. We talked about the career. Now we're going to talk about the third area. And this is where, again, another area that is very close to some people and they take very seriously. However, a little bit of playfulness can help us. I call it that cheat code to success. And so, area number three is your goals.
Of course.
Yes, your goals, the things that you want to achieve in life. And again, this is a very sort of personal space for folks and things that we take very seriously. And at the same time, it's important if you're taking away from the things that I mentioned in one and two. These are some things to hack our brains so that we can achieve those goals and achieve them without burning ourselves out, without, like overdoing it and whatnot. And so, why this is important. So, when it comes to goals and goal achievement, oftentimes, we go by, some outdated rules of like, what, hustle, 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 and it is something that we have to do, or else, and we feel a bit of shame. And when it comes to doing new things, it's challenging, and we have the biggest intentions to do it, but life gets in the way. And we're met with inertia and challenges, and it makes it easy to just say, you know what, maybe it's not for me. And then we sort of fall off the horse, and we're inconsistent, or whatever the case may be. But adding playfulness to it, and I'll talk about like more of the methods in just a moment, makes it so it's worth it. And I want to have a quick thought experiment. So, hear me out. Think back to a game that you've played, maybe a sports, maybe it's a solo activity, maybe it's a video game, and think about when you were a beginner at it. Take some time to think about that. And I'm curious, when you were first met with a challenge in that, did you just throw your hands in the air and give up and walk away? Or did you double down? Did you get strategic? And I like to think that most people, if it was something that they're truly interested in, they probably, double down. They probably, reframe some things because again, any game that is worth playing, if it didn't have challenges, it would be boring and we would not do it. So why couldn't we bring that essence to our goals? So before I talk about like some of the very specifics, April, I'm curious from you on what are your sort of thoughts on that?
I mean, I think when we come to this place, I don't know. I like just, I was listening to you and I don't know if I have any thoughts. I'm just like, yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
But I think when it comes to goals, you were talking about like, let's not be so serious about them. There's this aspect of, when the goal is either easy or fun, then it feels like it flows. You can actually get further faster. You can make that progress. But when there is no play, it's like sloughing along. And yeah, I don't want that.
Yeah,
What's it all for?
exactly. Yeah, and so for me, because it is something that is, new and dear, not new, but like very dear to my heart, and something that I ultimately want to, achieve, because it's aligned with my values and whatnot. Um, I, and I know that when stuff like this happen, it makes it challenging. I have been thinking, like, hey, how can we treat this more like a game? How can we add more playfulness to it? And before I do that, uh, oh, and Sharon, good point. Ask for help for someone better at it than yourself. Yes, exactly. Oh my gosh. As adults, like, sometimes we just forget that, it's okay to ask for help. Again, I have two young kids. They ask for help all the time. Sometimes I wish that they would do things themselves, but that's for another conversation. But the fact that they are willing to say, you know what, I can't do this. This is someone who can. Can you help me? But as adults, as we get older, we have this thing that's like, no, no, I need to do it myself. But when we're on an adventure, when we're sort of playing, yeah, we have our playmates, we have our teammates. They are there to help us along. And so, getting to the thing that I started doing, and as it pertains to goals, is I was thinking, I was like, all right, how can I make this more like a game. And I started thinking about games that I really like, and what are the game mechanics that I can apply to my goals. One, to because again, being someone that's neurodivergent, in the beginning there is a lot of novelty. It is really fun, and then you get into it, and then it becomes the mundane sometimes, and then that sort of novelty goes away. But yet I know it's important, and I want to, like, again, hack my neurodivergent brain so that I can keep going. And I have this belief that if you can make something that is accessible for folks that are neurodivergent, it works for all types of people, because again, motivation is motivation. And so I was thinking about games and stuff that I like, and what are the elements that really help me keep going and feel fulfilled and whatnot. And so going to share a few just to get, like, wet your whistle with this. But the main thing that I was thinking about is, so Mario Brothers is something that, like, one of the first, like, sort of video game franchises that I fell in love with. And with Mario, again, if you're not familiar with Mario, Mario's a plumber. He's in this world. He's trying to save the princess. But he hits these blocks and he gets these power ups, and these power ups give him advantages that help him along his journey. And I was thinking about myself. I said, all right, what are some advantages or power ups that I need to assist me on these journeys? And then so I'll give you, like, a few things that I was thinking about, and one of them is sort of energy. A lot of times, we know we need to get it done. It's in our schedule, but we just don't have the energy or starting motivation to get to roll into it. And so I think about that power up, and I'm like, all right, cool. All right, cool. What do I need to sort of power up before I jump into this? And sometimes it's a dance break. Sometimes it's a brisk walk. Sometimes I need hydration or something like that. But again, I think about that power up. And then another power up is help. And again, going back to what Sharon said, so as I'm doing these tasks, sometimes I'm like, oh man, I'm having a challenge. All right, I need a power up. All right, cool. Sort of like if you think about those, like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, stuff like that. Can I phone a friend? Is there someone that I could tap into that can give me a quick motivation, and stuff like this? And in our community, the ASC, April does a really good job with this. She has co-working hours where we pop on Zoom and we work with each other, independently, of course, but just, again, having that body double, having someone there, really helps us get things done. So again, a common power up. And then the other thing, and this is something that, for me, being neurodivergent, helps keep the novelty there, is looking at progress. A lot of times when we have these longer goals, it takes a while to get progress. So and for me, it's all about getting consistent. Because again, if this is something I just read, I think today. And so I don't have it set to memory, but it was two groups that got into pottery. And group A, the instructor said, along this time in this class, I want you to work on making the best piece of pottery that you can do. That is your goal for this class. And then group B, their only task was to do as much as you can. Do is more quantity over quality. And then by the end of it, I think it was like a, I don't know, 6, 7 week. It was a certain class. The group that actually made the most progress and had the most creative pieces of pottery were the group that was focused on making the most. And again, when you're making the most, you're going to make mistakes. But you're getting through that. But the ones who are focusing on perfection oftentimes aren't getting started. They're more in their head. And so for me, when I'm doing a lot of these goals that I'm working on, it's all about like creating new habits and getting consistency. So I started scoring myself, and the score is basically on my effort. So it's like, hey, you know what? If you at least got started today, you get a few points. If you did X, Y, and Z, you did X number of points. And at the end of the day, I look at my score for the day. I'm like, all right, great. And then I keep track of that. And then if I can get 15 points, I level up. So, anyways, it is very silly, but it works for me. And it, again, takes the mundane out of it and it focuses on actually making progress. So that's just a little teaser thing for something bigger. But it's, again, but adding those game mechanics and a little bit of playfulness, it helps us stay consistent. It helps us stay on that journey. And April, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I love all of the examples here, and one of the things that I think about are, for me personally, when I'm working on goals, I really want to think about, okay, I want to make progress. I want it to be fun. And how do I make sure that we've got the consistency that you were mentioning, that we're able to see the progress. And this is, I don't know if this is like a good segue, but this is exactly what we do in the ASC when it comes to goals. We work on our goals together. So not only do we see our own progress, but we get the dopamine hits of watching everybody else go through their goals and work on their and you get to see their progress. So you get that inspiration and you are reflecting every day so that you can see the consistent progress that you make day after day after day. This is our Goal 30 program. And so it gives you that structure, but then it gives you that connection that, is often associated with joy and play. And also when you're starting to get stuck, you're able to get yourself in that place of flow so you don't get stuck. So that consistent structure gives you that opportunity to keep making progress every day. And it's this loop. And so it's a way that we've figured out to make goals fun, right?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
And we have
And so,
another one starting soon, do we, Gary?
yes, we
Right?
do. June 4th, which is coming up next week. And this one specifically is the one that I'm spearheading. So it's Goal 30 Play Life. And so what we are focusing on is what are those goals that are maybe the most challenging, that you need to get done, but maybe there's some blocks and stuff that is getting in your way. And just a little bit of playfulness might make it um, more enjoyable or easy to accomplish. And so that is going to be the focus for our 30 days together. And I'm going to be rolling out what I've been using for my goals as a fun little play challenge for 30 days. And so I'm super excited about that. And so as you can see in the link on the bottom, if you go to goal30.accountabilitysuccesscircle.com, you can sign up to join us for our kickoff, where I'm going to roll out the framework and get folks started. And what I have been studying is not just sort of game mechanics, but like essentially how the brain works. How can we really tap into this goal? So there's going to be a visioning aspect of it. There's going to be the framework itself, but you're essentially going to embark on your own quest for 30 days. And there's going to be a scoring aspect of it if that's what if you want to get into that. But the main thing is, how can you stay consistent and motivated for 30 days to work on something that is meaningful for you? So if that is something that is calling to you, again, go to goal30, that accountabilitysuccesscircle.com. Our kickoff is June 4th, and it is going to be at
Yeah.
4 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Central, and 7 p.m. Eastern. That is like our kickoff, um, like sort of little uh, huddle. It's going to be, it's good. We're going to be together virtually, and then it's going to be recorded, and then we officially start that next Monday. And so, if you're not a member of the AFC, by joining for this Goal 30, you get in for free, right, April?
Yes. So you got
Yes.
to show up to the kickoff party, and we'll give you all the details there. We always love to give people a chance to try the magic that we provide in helping you with your goals. And not only are we facilitating it, and Gary is facilitating this one because it's focused on play. I will be also participating along with everyone else, working on my mundane tasks and more of my goals. And I'm just super excited to look at this from a lens of play, especially the stuff that I've been kind of sloughing through for probably years now. And so yeah, it works for everybody. We do this challenge alongside all of you, and it's super fun. And I always love it when Gary facilitates this, because I mean, you did it once last year, but it's always,
Yes.
I don't know, I'm just like, I'm all excited because this is just a great opportunity to look at my goals with an extra sprinkle of Gary's magic. So yay!
Yay! So,
Super, super
anyways,
fun.
yes. So that is it. That is our quickie. That
It was
is
a long
awesome.
one.
It was a long one. And so I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got something from it, regardless if you join us next week or not. It's my hope that you start to see, things differently and how play can really enhance, not detract from your life. And yeah, I hope to see some of y'all next week as we kick off another Goal 30. It's going to be amazing. I'm super excited. Again, this is something that I've been working on and evolving. As April mentioned, yes, we did Goal 30 last year, Goal 30 Play Life last year, and that was just more on play in general. And so this one is using play as a vehicle to achieve your goals and stuff like that. So it's something that is really exciting. And Sharon, I think you're gonna like it as well. So yeah, and we'll see from there. But any last words, April, before we say goodbye?
Come join us. It's so much more fun to do it when there's more people together and
That's
doing
what she
our
said.
goals. Let's do it. Let's have
Anyways,
a
yes.
multiple sum, I guess.
Yeah,
Okay.
something like that. Yeah. Anyways, all right. It has been awesome. And until the next time, yeah, hopefully it will not be another year before you see our faces again. But thank you for joining
Let's
us.
have more
And
cookies, Gary.
yes, let's have more quickies. And we'll see y'all later. All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye.